guys, Prowl 1701 here. First time I've recorded with the webcam in the new place. Slightly smaller room to work with, but I'm making it work. Today we're on Face Off. We're going to be looking at which of these Doomsday stories do you think is better? And the options were 4 to Doomsday, Army of Ghosts / Doomsday, or that it's a tie and you can't decide. Now for me, it's obviously 4 to Doomsday. I love 4 to Doomsday. It's one of my favorite Davison stories in like my top 3 or 4. It ranked really high when I ranked the Davison era. I enjoy it. It's a little padded in places. The dance scenes go on a little too long. But I like some of the cliffhangers in it. I like Peter Davison in it. I like... Edric's actually very irksome in it. He's very gullible. I like the character of Monarch, and I like Enlightenment and whoever the other one is that's with him. I like them and the actors playing them. I enjoy the story itself. I just find 4 to Doomsday, especially for a completely studio-bound story, to be a really fun watch. Army of Ghosts and Doomsday is a mixed bag for me. I enjoy it well enough. I like the fact it starts out as a Cybermen story and then basically becomes a Dalek story. That's cool. It's a nice little fake out, a nice little red herring. I love the cliffhanger where the Daleks just pop out of the orb. That's awesome. I love the fact the Daleks smack the Cybermen just so easily. I love that. The scene when they have that smackdown talk between the Dalek and the Cybermen, I live for that. That is awesome. And then when the Daleks actually back it up and just completely wax the Cybermen, it shows just how deadly the Daleks are with just the 4 Daleks. I absolutely love that. The ending is good until it's not. The bit with Rose and Tennant being separated when they're touching the wall, kind of showing them separated by a wall, I like. And it should have ended there with him walking away. When it does that drawn out bit on the beach, that's part of what pulls the story down for me. I don't know, I just feel like, considering these episodes, these stories are probably similar in length, to be honest. I feel like 4 to Doomsday uses its runtime better, in my opinion, where Army of Ghosts drags on a bit for me. I still enjoy both. I just like 4 to Doomsday better. Now, the vote did not agree with me, with 64% of you voting for Army of Ghosts Doomsday, and only 29% voting 4 to Doomsday, and 6% calling it a tie. So basically 64% versus 29%. So a win for Modern Who. This is one of those occasions where me and the poll just disagree. Let's see what some of you had to say down in the comments. Sir Meows a Lot 89 says, I love 4 to Doomsday, a great standalone classic Who story. One of my favorite cliffhangers when Bygone makes his reveal, Nyssa actually has stuff to do. I love when this has stuff to do. Saves the Doctor's life, has dialogue, yes. Outshines Adric and Tegan. The other is relying on 2 series of build-up for the Doctor and Rose, for Rose's departure to hit you in the feels and make you think it's a great episode when it's just a good episode. Fair enough. David Hammond, Ham, it's always good to see Ham stopping by, says definitely 4 to Doomsday for me. The script is really great. People tend to not like it as it hasn't got a lot of the typical low-resolution bangs and flashes. But I think the dialogue is really great, and Monarch is a deep character. I do like Monarch a lot as a character. I'd put it at my number 3 Davison behind Enlightenment and Androzani. It ranks high on my list as well. Bananas Are Good says, this is one of those rare occasions where I choose modern over classic. I like 4 to Doomsday until the final episode, but the Series 2 finale does have more to offer in my mind. Plus, it was the story that introduced the 10th Doctor's catchphrase, no, not sorry, I'm so sorry. I mean, allons-y. Allons-y. Normally Normal says 4 to Doomsday is my least favorite 5th Doctor story, but I'd rather watch that than Army of Ghosts Doomsday because 4 to Doomsday has the 5th Doctor in it, and he's my favorite Doctor. Fair enough. I wonder, you have to tell me why Davison's Doctor's your favorite. I'm curious on that. Clash Panda says, Army of Ghosts Doomsday sets up the cult of Skaro and was RTD doing an incredible job on a companion departure story. It was the only way Rose could leave the show, and her living with the Meta-Crisis Doctor is the only way her story could come to an end, even though, of course, that happens a couple seasons later. Say what you want about the character. Or say what you like about the character. 4 to Doomsday has really interesting themes, but is one of the more forgettable episodes of Season 19, in my opinion. The Strange Light Bulb a name I always like. It says, I can't believe I'm actually choosing For to Doomsday over another episode of Doctor Who. Almost went with a tie because I don't care about either story all that much. Michael Hickerson says, Doomsday doesn't stick the landing for the two-parter and the season. I know for some it's a pivotal moment in their fandom, but I'm going with For to Doomsday. Mr. CT Cool Guy says, For to Doomsday is my comfort story, so I have to go for that one. It is a good one for that. Bobby Frackwell says, For to Doomsday all day and all night. Hudson Media, a fellow Who-tuber, and I have got to watch his newest story. He has a new I story. I still haven't had a chance to watch it. I've been so focused on the move, and I've also had the Corvette in the shop getting my radiator and the support bar for my radiator fixed. I've just been busy. I'm going to get that watch soon. He says, no. Why is For to Doomsday winning? I've never understood the underrated appreciation for it. It's one of the few Who stories I actively hate. What is wrong with you? And you'll feel better now because the Army of Ghost Doomsday one did by far actually beat it. What, 64% to 29%? It's a pretty solid win. And I, of course, because Hudson and I get on really well, so we had a little conversation here where I was like, I love For to Doomsday, and he's like, I remember you saying that. If only I saw what you saw. My favorite part is Davison chucking a glass container into the green guy's face right at the end. And I was like, no worry, there are people out there that like Kill the Moon. I'll never understand why it's dreadful, and he just said agreed. And then David Drenwick Jr. said, I agree with Hudson. I have For to Doomsday on VHS and have seen it long before the New Who series ever started. I watched it once until it was released on DVD and then gave it another shot and still wasn't impressed. It's a bit Marmite. You either love it or hate it. I don't love it. I think its story has potential, however, its realization was not exactly brilliant. And Shamrock Particle says, why do you hate it so, if you don't mind me asking? And then he adds, the story has quibbles, but the innovation on the old trope of alien invasion is genuinely good. I agree. The time periods Monarch visited are still arbitrary, but that's not as bad as Tegan knowing which precise Aboriginal dialects so perfectly. They were trying you to get rid of the Sonic, not replace it. Many good artists also don't do art for a living. That one's an easy rebuttal. Henry Andrews says, it's a tie. I can't decide which one as I like more, as neither really shouts epic to me. Kathleen Holland, who I've seen several times on the channel lately. Hello, Kathleen. It's nice to have you. Says, picking Army of Ghost Doomsday because I haven't seen For to Doomsday. That's fair. I could see the logic there. JLBWHO, who is also one of my patrons, it's always good to see him, says Doomsday because they got rid of Series 2 Rose. Chucky8444 says Army of Ghost and Doomsday, and Shamrock Particle, who is one of my YouTube members, says one story is semi-educational sci-fi with some heavy-handed messages, which still comes off with more tact than Orphan 55. The other is cheap hormone-driven teen drama with more high camp than seasons 24 and 17 combined can't begin to come close to. He says, no contest for me as I don't need persuasion to be guided to the monarch of all stories, so now I feel enlightened. The man knows his who. The man knows his who. So, both in the comments. I think a fair mix of both in the comments, but the poll with 170 votes went 64% Army of Ghost Doomsday, only 29% For to Doomsday, and 6% calling it a tie. I, of course, going against the poll and preferring For to Doomsday personally. So if you didn't get a chance to vote in this poll, I would like to know what you think. Go ahead and comment down below. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and the notifications as well, or the bell as well for notifications. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Also, down in the description, I have links to the Patreon, several different tiers there to choose from if you would like to support me on that. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review. A link to my Amazon wish list is down there as well, and YouTube memberships are available. Most importantly, thank you for watching.